Not every band from the 80s managed to survive the test of time. Some had just one big hit, others shined for a couple of years, and then total silence. But they left behind something unforgettable. Albums, songs, and moments that still live on in the memories of those who heard them at their best. In this video, you'll see the real story of 10 iconic 80s bands that left a mark and no longer exist. While some fought against the industry, others fell apart from within. Stick around until the end, because each story is different, and more than one will surprise you. Formed in London in 1980, Haircut 100 was a new wave and pop-punk band led by Nick Hayward. Their debut album, Pelican West, was released in 1982 and became an immediate success in the UK, reaching number 2 on the charts. The single Love Plus One became their international calling card, standing out with its upbeat energy, brass arrangements, and a fresh style that perfectly matched the era's aesthetic. During the recording of their second album, internal tensions escalated. Nick Hayward left the band in 1983, which deeply impacted their creative direction. Without their lead singer, main songwriter, the band tried to move forward, but their second album, Paint and Paint, failed to capture the attention of either the public or the critics. The loss of their musical identity marked the beginning of the end. Haircut 100 officially disbanded shortly afterward. While they attempted sporadic reunion shows in the 2000s, they never regained their original momentum. Kix was formed in Maryland in 1977. But it wasn't until the late 80s that they reached peak notoriety within the American glam metal scene. Their most successful album, Blow My Fuse, 1988, included the single Don't Close Your Eyes power ballad that climbed to number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and brought them visibility on rock radio and MTV. Their style mixed irreverent attitude with high-energy performances, making them a live show favorite. Before their big breakthrough, the band had released albums like Midnight Dynamite and Cool Kids, which weren't massive hits but helped build a loyal fan base. Their music stood out for its focus on fun, catchy riffs, and a sound that balanced hard rock with commercial melodies. Steve Whiteman, their charismatic lead singer, was a key part of the band's identity. In 1995, Kix disbanded following the commercial failure of their later releases, although they reunited in 2003 for shows and released new material. They never reclaimed their former spot in the scene. Vixen was one of the few all-female bands to break through in the male-dominated glam metal scene of the 80s. Founded in Minnesota and solidified in Los Angeles, their self-titled debut album, released in 1988, was produced by Richard Marx and featured the single Edge of a Broken Heart, which became their biggest commercial hit. With a polished and powerful sound, Vixen broke barriers in an industry almost entirely ruled by men. The band gained exposure by touring with acts like Scorpions, Ozzy Osbourne, and Bon Jovi. Their approach combined strong technical skills with an effective and accessible glam aesthetic. Their second album, Rev It Up, 1990, maintained some media presence, but didn't match the impact of their debut. Soon after, internal conflicts and contractual issues led to the group's disbandment. Although there were reunions with various lineups, the original band never fully reformed. The death of guitarist Jan Quenemund in 2013 permanently closed the door on a classic reunion. Formed in California in 1975, the Motels found their place in the new wave scene in the early 80s. The band was led by Martha Davis, whose intense and melancholic voice became the group's signature. Their first major hit came with the album All For One in 1982, which featured the iconic ballad Only the Lonely track that reached the Billboard Top 10 and positioned them as one of the most original acts of the moment. Their follow-up album, Little Robbers, included another hit, Suddenly Last Summer, which solidified the Motels as a cult band with a constant presence on MTV. Their music carried a unique atmosphere, filled with restrained emotion and minimal yet effective arrangements. However, despite the recognition, internal tensions began to fracture the band. By 1987, the original lineup had disbanded. Martha Davis continued to use the name The Motels, but it was no longer the same. Although they released more albums in the following years, the impact never reached the same heights again. Which Motels album do you think best represents their style? Let me know what you think in the comments. Kingdom Come was born in Los Angeles in 1987 under the direction of German vocalist Lenny Wolf. Their debut album, Kingdom Come, was an instant success thanks to the single Get It On and a powerful sound influenced by 70s hard rock. Their approach drew attention for its technical quality and Wolf's vocal style, but also for the criticism. Many accused them of sounding too much like Led Zeppelin. The resemblance didn't go unnoticed. Although the album's sales were solid, the media pressure from comparisons began to undermine their artistic credibility. Their second album, In Your Face, received a colder reception. While it maintained the debut's energy, the strain was already visible. Rather than being appreciated on their own merits, they were seen as imitators. With the arrival of the 90s, the group lost momentum. Lineup changes, a sound that didn't evolve, and Wolf's eventual departure from the industry marked the end of their era.
Josie's on a vacation, lose your love tonight.
The Outfield was a British pop rock band formed in 1984 that quickly found success with their debut album, Play Deep. Their biggest hit was Your Love, a single that climbed to number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. With its catchy chorus and clean production, the song became an instant radio classic and remains a staple of 80s pop culture. The trio Tony Lewis, John Spinks, and Alan Jackman offered a melodic, accessible sound that was heavily crafted in the studio. Although they tried to replicate their success with their second album, Bangin', the response was lukewarm. Their subsequent releases failed to regain market attention. Despite their solid offering, their sound was overshadowed by the musical shift that defined the next decade. Tony Lewis and John Spinks passed away in 2014, which definitively ended any chance of a comeback. The Outfield remains encapsulated in one great momentous song that continues to live on its own. Big Country formed in Scotland in 1981, led by vocalist and guitarist Stuart Adamson. Their debut album, The Crossing, was released in 1983 and immediately drew attention thanks to their unmistakable style. Guitars processed to mimic the sound of bagpipes, a sonic proposal that stood out within the alternative rock scene of the time. The track, In a Big Country, became an anthem, propelling the band onto both the US and UK charts. Over the following years, they released albums like Steel Town and The Seer, which maintained a loyal fan base and continued to earn critical acclaim. Songs like Fields of Fire and Chance cemented their identity. However, their epic and patriotic sound began to lose ground as musical trends shifted later in the decade. By the 1990s, the group faced commercial difficulties. Tragedy struck in 2001 when Stuart Adamson was found dead, marking the symbolic end of Big Country. Although the band attempted to continue with other vocalists, the original essence was gone. The Dogs D'Amour emerged in London in the mid-80s with a style that combined hard rock, blues, and a distinctively decadent attitude. Their frontman, Tyler, was the band's creative and visual driving force, with a bohemian image and a raspy voice that perfectly matched the spirit of the group. In 1988, they released In the Dynamite Jet Saloon, the album that put them on the map, featuring songs like How Come It Never Rains. Although they never achieved massive success, they built a loyal fan base thanks to their lyrical style and the atmosphere of their song. Their following albums, such as Errol Flynn, 1989, retain that romantic and rebellious tone that set them apart from other bands in the glam circuit. However, their chaotic reputation didn't help. Constant lineup changes and issues with record labels weakened their momentum. Throughout the 90s, the band gradually faded. Tyler continued with solo projects and re-releases under the same name, but the original momentum had vanished. What do you think did the band fall apart due to internal chaos? Or was the market simply not ready for them? Let me know below.
Got a picture of your house.
Warrant was one of the defining bands of the late glam metal era, formed in Los Angeles in 1984. Their debut album, Dirty Rotten, Filthy Stinking Rich, included Down Boys in Heaven, which quickly caught the public's attention. However, it was with Cherry Pie that they reached the top. The title track, written at the last minute, became a massive hit thanks to its catchy chorus and a video that played non-stop on MTV. Behind the party-ready and provocative image was a solid band with strong production and stage presence. But by the early 90s, the market shifted drastically. Their third album, Dog Eat Dog, tried to adopt a more aggressive sound, but it didn't have the same impact. Added to that were internal tensions and the burnout of lead singer Janny Lane, who left the band in 1993. Lane passed away in 2011, marking the definitive end of Warrant's golden chapter. Although the band has continued performing with new members, their peak moment is long gone. Cherry Pie still plays on classic rock stations, but many don't know the full story behind the song. The Call was an alternative rock band formed in California in 1980, led by singer and bassist Michael Ben. Their sound was marked by introspective lyrics and a dense atmosphere, far from the traditional 80s glam aesthetic. Their highest point came with the album Reconciled, which included I Still Believe, Great Design, and The Walls Came Down, a song that became a staple on college radio stations. Despite critical support, they never achieved the commercial success of their contemporaries. Their sober style, rooted in deep emotion and existential themes, made them a cult band. Albums like Into the Woods and Let the Day Begin solidified their place in the underground scene, but they never broke into the mainstream. Michael Ben died in 2010 while working as a sound technician for his son's band, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. With him, the possibility of a true return for The Call faded away. Some topped the charts, others came close, but all of them, without exception, left a recognizable mark on the musical DNA of the 1980s. In this ranking, we look back at 10 bands that defined a generation through their sound, style, and attitude and that, for different reasons, no longer exist. Some shone briefly, others fought until the very end, but all of them live on through every cassette, vinyl, or playlist that brings that unforgettable era back to life. What other bands with similar stories would you add to this list? Drop your suggestions in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. See you in the next episode, because music truly is forever.